And we are live.
Okay. I can't see. Oh, thank you everyone, and welcome to another episode of, I'm going to just call it Loki Cast at this point, where we break down episode 5 of Loki. This is going to be the journey into the mystery, and this is the one where we get all of the Lokis and we get a lot more story of what we think might be happening, and there's a lot more mystery. So let's just start off this panel. We're going to introduce everyone. Mr. Joey Polanco, how are you doing?
All right, everybody, how's it going?
Mr. Carlos Romero.
Yo, what's going on?
Mr. Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Mr. Tony Polanco.
What is going on, people?
Mr. Sir Richalot.
What's up, everybody?
Wonderful. And I am your host, Dana. So let's just kind of dive right into this. Overall, really quickly, snippets. What did you like about this show? We'll start off with Mr. Richard.
Oh, man. I'm putting the spot right immediately.
Controversial
early.
Okay, so to quote my very good friend Tony Polanco, he said, if this episode is done correctly, we will be introduced to the main villain by the end of the episode. That did not happen. So that definitely is a knock, a criticism. As for everything else that happened in the episode, I thought it was okay. Don't know if I like the payoff of Mayor or President Loki, whatever the hell you want to call him, but it was okay. There's a lot of Easter eggs throughout this episode, and I think that's what a lot of people was excited about for the most part.
Right. Mr. Polanco.
Yeah, I think I made a mistake by watching this on Wednesday because I almost forgot everything that happened. Usually I watch these shows before we do this because the show's just so forgettable. I just forget about it. All I remember was there was a alligator Loki. There was a fog monster that was very reminiscent of Galactus from the Fantastic Four movies, and the Addams Family house at the end. Like that, and I think Frog Thor was in there for like a second. You know, but yeah, there was some other stuff with like President Loki that didn't go anywhere. The other Lokis were kind of cool. I like them, right? Then you have the whole Sylvie stuff. I mean, I'll probably just get more into it just hearing what you guys have to say. But yeah, it was kind of a forgettable episode. But it wasn't as terrible as some of the other ones I've really rejected. I wasn't left like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I was just like, that was better than before. It's like if we keep going up, maybe I'll be okay with the season finale, you know. But this episode, Dana, I didn't hate it. I'll just give you that. I didn't hate it. But then again, this how
yeah.
But no, yeah. So I'm saying this is how I feel at the moment. Chris is going to come in here and just fuck it everything, you know. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Let's just dive into Mr. Debbie Downer, Chris Seeley.
Well, I'll say that there was good and bad stuff in this episode. It was kind of a jumbled mess, but there was definitely highlights, and there was some good character moments, but then there was like random stuff in the middle, like when all the Lokis meet up and one's betraying the other, and everything kind of gets insane. Also, the place they're in is kind of a mishmash of stuff, like the warship, I guess, from the Philadelphia experiment lands in there, and also it's just madness, So I did like the nod to the title is Journey into Mystery, and then you have old Loki, and he's dressed like the cover of that issue. I guess was his first appearance, so he's dressed like that. And then the fact that his variance is the fan theory that many people had, that he actually pulls it off. He fakes out Thanos and sleeps. So I did like that. I did think that actor conveyed that very well. And there was little Easter eggs all over the place. I didn't pick it up. I couldn't tell what the little thing was, and I had to go back and see that it was Frog Thor in a jar. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty good. The thing with the Cloud Monster, I know that's something from the comics. I forget his name. He's like something the Usurper in the comics. I know.
I think it's like Alioth. It's Alioth.
Yes.
Alioth or something like that.
Alioth, yeah.
Alioth the Usurper, right? So Alioth the Usurper is associated with Kang, so that goes back to my original
another clue. And I think it's purple too, just saying.
Yes, so I think it has something to do with Kang, so I'm going to stick with that theory.
George Romero.
I enjoyed the episode. I'm kind of like with Tony and Chris. It's kind of a little bit mixed. I think I lean more towards the positive though. I like Richard E. Grant was great in this episode. I think he was probably the best part of the episode. I also
the old
enjoyed.
man, Carlos.
Yep,
Is that-
that's
all right.
yes, the
Old man Loki.
All right.
old man Loki.
Yeah, old man Loki.
Whoa,
He was cool.
whoa.
I liked him.
Classic Loki.
I like the scenes between what's it called, Loki and Sylvie, the ones where they're just like sitting on. I don't think they were sitting on a rock this time, but they were sitting somewhere just talking. I felt like the pretty good character moments. I also enjoyed just this, like the set pieces. I thought the set pieces were really well done, including the little fortress thing in the underground. The whole thing. It looked just aesthetically pleasing. It looked like a wasteland, but it looked good. Just some of the issues that I did have had to do with the fact that Mobius, not that Mobius showed up, but the fact that Mobius showed up out of nowhere. It's like this vast land of nothingness.
Yeah.
It's a void, but then somehow he shows up and you don't see anybody else. I don't know if that's a Rona thing. I don't so I it kind of, I'm like, so Mobius shows up just out of nowhere in a car when Sylvie pops out. That one, it takes great leaps of faith to just believe it even in that made up world. Yep, go ahead, Rich.
That's Dana's favorite term. Matter of convenience.
Yeah.
Continue.
And these shows have a bunch of that stuff, but sometimes some of the leaps of faith are bigger than others. This one was just a huge ass leap.
Yeah.
The fact that we haven't gotten the big bad yet is kind of disappointing, because so we're gonna see it in the finale, and I know we're kind of speculating, but we're like, what are we going to do? We're going to beat the big bad there, or is it going to be set up for season 2? That kind of ambiguity is kind of, a little bit upsetting. But yeah, everything else, I did enjoy that episode. I'm still trying to contemplate whether I enjoyed it more than the last one. I think I do. But yeah, overall positive.
Joey Baloney.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with Carlos. I enjoyed this one more than the last. Here they were very playful, especially with their Easter eggs. There was Easter eggs galore on this episode.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things where I randomly started laughing was when they were in that little fortress and you see Kid Loki and they get attacked by President Loki. The alligator takes his hand and stuff. Kid Loki and Alligator Loki, which I believe I call Croki.
Croki.
Yeah,
It's Croki.
they do get help from Thor and Loki. The Kid Loki grabs Alligator and tosses him as get help.
That was the toss from, remember what Thor and Loki do, that toss and play dead?
Yeah, but that's get help.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just like, oh man, so there was a lot of fun moments here and there, but it was just like Chris was saying, there was a bit of a mess in certain areas. I do agree with the ending with the big bad not being shown, but if it is what I think it is, which is Loki, I don't mind it, only because of the scenes he had with Sylvie.
Sylvie, yeah.
Yeah, the scenes he had with getting to know her and growing a bond and stuff like that. It's been said before, especially with Mobius, where technically what I believe most of the show is Loki falling in love with himself.
Mm-hmm.
Until we meet what I believe is his opposite variant, and they kind of see the resemblance from the two different sides. My belief. But if it's not, then I don't know. I don't know on that one. This episode did give me a second theory. Just want to throw that out there.
Whoa.
Small one, real small. My second choice, I said this before, but my second choice is Mobius.
Oh.
That could explain why Mobius was able to just easily get there.
Also,
He's been in there. He knows the area.
from the last episode, he left through the door, and my thing is just like, what's to say he goes back to the TVA, takes over, and comes back to the end of time in the future? And I'm like, holy crap! Also, another scene. This is random. I'm sorry. All right, I didn't have a lot of sleep. When he's in the office with Roxana.
Yes.
That's her name, right? Roxana.
Yes.
No, what, the girl?
Yeah.
Ramona.
Sorry.
Oh, Ramona. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wifey.
Renslayer is her
Renslayer.
other.
When he's in the office and they're having a drink and he puts it down on the table and there's a close up and you see rings around it and she's like, hey, don't put it there because you always end up having rings. And he's looking at the table like, those other rings were not me. And I'm just like, got it. Could be multiple Mobiuses. We've been here before. I'm like, okay, all right, just throwing that out there. Sorry.
Joey, I'm surprised you didn't mention, since you're wearing the shirt, how much that world looks like Death Stranding.
Yeah, it started with a bang. It started with there was always an explosion.
Yes, it was always an explosion.
But the Easter eggs were insane on this one. There was tons of Easter eggs left and right. Almost every scene had like 3. We
can go through the Easter eggs. For me, I was kind of getting really tired of this show. Yep.
It's happening.
I was controversial.
Say you hear this shit, bro.
Hold on, let me record.
It's live, baby.
I was getting to. I know now that there's multiple seasons that they're gonna do with this show, and that's great and that's wonderful. And I know that it laid the groundwork for what's gonna happen in the multiple seasons. But I started to reach a breaking point where it felt like, aside from the Easter eggs, nothing was happening.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, I can change my opinion at times.
No, I'm jumping in. I'm jumping in to defend Dana because she's right. Like, think about it. Why do you think I forgot most of the episode? Because it was kind of forgettable. Let's just be real here.
Right, go.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, that's probably another reason why I wasn't as like upset because nothing happened. This episode, think about it. This is hold on. Plot twist. That's going to be Dana's going to make me not like this episode. Think about it. This is the second to last episode. Nothing happened.
But here's the thing. I think that they laid the groundwork for what could happen. But if you're looking for something to happen in season 1, it's not going to be there. It kind of felt to me like, remember the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Where the whole point is to get to the wizard.
Yeah.
And you have all these to Oz. So the whole thing is just drawn out. Here's all of the different people that we meet along the way. And we're still trying to follow the yellow brick road. And at the very end, we finally get, we're in Oz now, but nothing still has happened. We just see Oz. So I was, for 6 episodes, I'm okay with a show where it's a lot of dialogue and talking, but I also want something to happen. And the fact that we were stuck in, I guess it would be the void, nothing really happened. And aside from the Easter eggs, I felt very well done, by the way, but it was meant to keep people's attention.
Yeah.
Because nothing was going to happen.
I have a really important question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a variant Dana?
Is this the next?
What's going on?
Now?
I agree with you, Dana. I think that it's really important to establish arcs, arcs in a story. Like, you have to have a purpose to why it exists and what's the end goal, even if it's just one season. This season, like, we're trying to figure out what is the point of the season to bring down the TVA? Is the point of the season to find out who the big bad is? Is like it's still kind of ambiguous in a way where it's like, what's the end goal of this season? Maybe not the series, because like Dana mentioned, they're gonna make multiple seasons out of this. Is the whole purpose of this season to just know who controls the TVA? But we don't know that, and the fact that we don't know that is kind of, it doesn't make us kind of, like the show as much, because we don't know if we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Well,
and also it leads up to, I have to wait until the movie to see something, but I'm here currently. Can't you just do something now to appease me for when Doctor Strange comes out? I don't know when what's going to happen between now and Doctor Strange? If we're another delay or what? Just give me something.
Mm-hmm.
Richard?
So I agree with everything that has been said. And again, we have to remember, as you said, Dana, this was the most anticipated Marvel show. So let's see if it lives up to that expectation. But I had a question I wanted to ask, and I don't really know what you guys think about this. So when they reveal a lot of these variants, is the point to just give you an idea of something that potentially happened to tease, or are we actually going to see this? Because one of the takeaways I had from this episode is that when Kid Loki talked about, oh yeah, I killed Thor. Now I'm thinking to myself, are we going to see that, or can we just assume that that won't happen because this is a different version of Loki altogether?
I don't think we're gonna see that.
Yeah, we're not gonna see that.
Okay.
Yeah, just the line itself was kind of like strong, like I killed Thor. I was like, oh damn. I don't think we're actually gonna see that unless we're actually see Thrawn and a few other people come back and see everybody's timeline. That would be 1,000 seasons. But no, I think I don't think we'll get there.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I killed Thor,
and I don't like that kid either.
Yeah.
He later ends up joining the Young Avengers. I don't know what they are planning on doing with that, but maybe in the other seasons we will get some kind of variation of what happened. But speaking of Kid Loki and not Kid Loki, there was what was the
Croki?
Frog Croki? No, not Croki. The Frog Thor. We kind of got Throg. We got that only a small mention in Ragnarok during the play scene when he's like, "I'm sorry, I turned you into a frog."
Yeah.
So it does bleed itself into what could have happened in other shows, or movies, but I don't think we're gonna get all of that. No.
I agree.
So So kind of with this episode, it opened up with basically all of the Lokis.
The Loki.
The Loki, basically the Loki, and they're explaining that this is the Void, this is the huge monster. What you guys said, Abel? I can't pronounce his name, but it was the big purple thing that looks like the voice of Transformer. So basically, he's the only one. I'm assuming once he kills you, you're dead. So there's no more extra timeline for you because you're in the Void, unless that's something different that we don't know where you actually go. So the whole goal was to get his attention, to enchant him so that he can channel into his mind, so we can finally get into the person who's really controlling everything, which again would assume to me that the person who is controlling everything also controls the smoke monster. No?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's like his guard dog?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think that's the purpose.
Yeah. Like
I
a
agree.
gate monster.
Right. So along the way, we have the multiple variants that we see of the Loki and everything that really would have happened. That there were Loki in the background that they really didn't give the storyline to. At one point, there was a tiny Loki, a little person Loki. And
if it's an individual, you can say Loki. If it's an individual, you can say Loki.
Loki.
Remember, Loki is the plural.
Get our grammar lesson for the day.
You're damn right.
So basically, one of the big things that we had was a lot of the Easter eggs. So was there a particular Easter egg we can kind of go through that you was really excited to see?
Yeah.
Because we had the giant helmet of Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
We had Throg. We had the statue of the Tribunal.
Yeah, living tribunal.
We had the helipad
Helicarrier.
Helicarrier.
Yeah, from Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Chris. Who? No, is it Jose? You mentioned that, right? Polybius.
Yep.
Polybius.
Yep. And it was right there. Yeah.
And that's like from I think an urban legend that the game was so good, or people turned crazy trying to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had the ship. We had multiple ships, but one of the ships was the 173 USS Eldridge, which is a part of the whole Philadelphia experiment. For those who don't know, the President Loki is directly from the comic book.
Yeah.
Where he is president.
Yeah.
And I kind of expected more from these different Lokis, or Loki.
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
But we didn't get that much. But I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Also the helicopter.
Yeah, Thanos helicopter.
We had
Yeah, the Thanos helicopter. Yeah.
the Thanos helicopter.
There was also a scene there in the background. They had a Ronin ship that crashed down in the
Oh,
background.
really?
Yes.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
the
you
accuser.
could see it
Yeah.
laying out in the back. But one of my things, especially with the whole Team Loki, was that when the first scene popped up, when the post credit scene, was literally a kind of a shot for shot copy of the first Avengers, where everyone is pointing the arrows at him and stuff like that. He's looking up. In that post credit scene, you can hear a rendition of that Avengers theme, like a new group assembled. And then we didn't do anything. And I'm just like, oh, like you amped this, like it's right here. And then it's like, Alligator's like drinking like Kool-Aid or whatever back there. I'm like, all right, that's cute. That's
But
cute.
we could end up getting a version of that, and they all storm the castle.
I mean, few of them are
Well, because
Dead
old
now.
Loki's
Cute.
gone.
few of them dead now.
Yeah, well, yeah, not all of them. There are a bunch of them hanging around. If they're
Yeah.
not done fighting with each other.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was so many other Easter eggs I saw that I was just like, we're just going all out. It was like we just took every comic and was like, yo, put that there. But yeah, the Ronin
even
one.
the name of the episode was an Easter egg, Journey into Mystery. That's where Thor first appeared. Thor
That's
and Loki.
right.
Yeah.
Actually, the two things where you see Throg was there was a tag there. It's a T-165,
Yeah, that was the
which
comment.
was his first appearance.
Oh wow, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, there was so many, and but it happened so quickly. That's like, okay, cool. And then after all the Easter eggs, the meat and bones was just like, we're here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Here's a
Well,
blanket.
that's my complaint. It's like, don't just lure the fans with Easter eggs, like, so we're just paying attention to that, and you don't have much else to support your story.
Well, they had a blanket. Put the blanket on.
Head up, blanket.
Yeah, the blanket. There we go.
That was nice. That was a nice moment. Actually, was a nice moment to be.
You know,
But yeah, like I was saying earlier, it just seems like he's falling in love with himself, and that's where we will encounter episode 6. But if episode 6 is not him, it
has to be either him or Mobius.
They have to stick the landing somehow, because after that, let's say if the outcome, if the payout isn't strong, would I be back for another season? Would I care? It's like, I don't know. You really got to sell me on something right here.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate to be in that room. That's scary. That's a scary work there.
That's a good point. I mean, we have to also we have to get through so many things in the last episode, because it's like, first of all, they're gonna have to go through the little gate, go to the little Adam's house, and find out whatever's gonna happen there. And then Mobius is in the TVA. He's gonna do his thing. I don't know whether he's gonna be the big bad or he's gonna be the.
That's my second prediction. Let me write that down.
Uh-oh.
That has to get resolved somehow, and then it all has to come together, because it's not. There's no way in hell Mobius is not gonna see the Loki again.
Yeah.
So is this episode gonna be 2 hours long?
No, it's not. No,
It's not.
Oh, they already have a runtime for that.
It all has to get resolved in 40 minutes or so?
No,
I don't
probably
think
an
it'll
hour.
all be resolved. I think it'll be another cliffhanger.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure
Because
they'll. give us an
WandaVision
hour.
was a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but they ended Agatha.
Yeah,
Did
Agatha.
Yeah, they trapped her in a thing.
Yeah, but she was just trapped in her own mind. She could
Well, they came to a conclusion with her.
She'll be back.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh,
they
she'll
don't
be
really
back. She better be back.
Yeah, I think they have to. The whole point of this show, it's like, okay, so it's like, or the WandaVision, it's like, oh, Wanda, has this her own little world, and apparently there's someone messing with it and manipulating her, and it turns out to be Agatha. And it was like 3 episodes before the end, and then she takes care of her. And in this one, it's like the TVA is doing crazy stuff. We're going into the finale. We have no clue who's behind any of this, and we don't have no clue how it could even get resolved. Because we know if it's someone that's, for example, Kang the Conqueror, they're not going to take care of him in the show.
Yeah.
So that's why I lean more towards Joey's point of thinking, where it could be either Loki or Mobius, because I think that's more easily accessible to defeat in in a span of one episode. Because we've already, and Loki more importantly, because like this whole show is sort of been a deep dive of Loki's character. It's more of a character study of Loki, so it makes sense that the big bad at the end turns out to be him. So we won't have to go through a backstory of why the hell he's doing what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah, what's weird there is, like, let's say if the show does end and it doesn't get resolved and we're going to another season and stuff like that, we're dealing with a character that it technically is already dead in the future. Yes. So it's like, Wanda and stuff could continue. It goes after Endgame and all that stuff. But it's like, oh, hey, here's season 2 of this guy that is no longer he's back there. Just a heads up, here's season 2. It's like, it's going to be hard to keep everyone engaged for a second season if done right. If it could be like Alligator for all we know. It could be crazy, but they just have to keep us engaged.
I'm curious what Tony Polanco's reaction will be if the villain is Tom Hiddleston himself, and he's the one that has to perish.
That would be interesting, but I could see that. I could see that, like Loki just being the villain.
So while everyone is kind of stuck over there, we have the 4 Lokis, the Loki, doing their business. We have back at the TVA, we have Sylvie and Ravonna, and she's explaining, look, I don't know what's going on. She's still playing coy, still trying to get Sophie to kind of surrender. But Sophie's like, look, the only person who can rescue Loki is Loki. So she ends up pruning herself, and she goes out to find Loki. Meanwhile, during this whole time, Mobius, who was there for a while, and again, I'm still stating what he knows this landscape pretty well, because he was able to find the car who was from, remember Cars, the movie, and he was in the pizza car. The car that he was driving is the pizza car from Cars.
Oh, interesting.
So Lightning McQueen was driving the car in Cars. So he is able to know the whole groundwork. He's able to just quickly right there and be at their side, which to me was a little questionable, because how do you know this if you didn't know that you was dead? So maybe this is a variant that knows everything and is okay with being pruned, because he knows what's really up. So the only person who seems to be confused about this is Loki, not Mobius. He didn't really say, what is this place, if you kind of pay attention.
It's a good point, yeah. So did he know, or it's just something they forgot?
I think.
Well, it's possible he put it together too. Remember, he still has his little PDA thing.
Right, the Timpak.
When he got pruned. So it's possible, and it's possible he sent a lot of those things there. He's worked for them for a while, so he could have been responsible for resetting a whole bunch of timelines and going, oh, I remember this, I remember that. But here's the thing. This is my complaint for this show and the other Marvel shows. You're not giving them enough episodes to be able to tell these stories coherently.
Yeah.
Like, we're missing this essential piece. Like, we should have seen him working more than the little scene in France and the Renaissance Fair and all that stuff. We should have seen Mobius do something and prune some reality, and maybe we see a scene there where he encounters it and he realizes, holy shit, we don't reset anything. It just gets dumped here like a junkyard, and then I would have fleshed it out more. I don't think he's the big bad. I think that they just ran out of time, and they're jumping to a lot of assumptions in here. I mean, I have that complaint more with I watched Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, and that's that series is total dumpster fire, but that's conversation.
Right. Very good point. We have Formal Foundation brought up the House of Ideas. And House of Ideas is basically, in a comic book, one of the Loki, like the main Loki, anytime he gets bored or wants to, he starts thinking of something, he can create it. And the House of Ideas, so that would explain the different variants of Loki, which I don't think they're going to probably focus on.
Nah, I don't think so.
That would be too complicated. And only a small % of people kind of know about that.
Yeah, and plus we have the last 45 minutes to go. It's like, this is going to be oof. Unless it's going to be a whole Star Trek like fight as they've been doing this whole show. Yeah, it's literally the first scene should show them the big bad. It's like we gotta go fast. We can't waste time.
That's it. Oh, that is also true. The what if? I always said that what if was connected to Loki.
Well, which is funny because I saw this entire show like a what if.
Mm-hmm.
This entire show felt like one big what if.
Well, it's because like Dana mentioned, this there might not be any consequences to the overall MCU storyline with the movies because of this. So, for all we know, this is just another universe, another timeline that no one ever figures out because we're not in the sacred timeline.
Right. It just seems like it's a compact story, like off to itself, unless again it opens up to the multiverse, which I don't think Loki ends up opening, but it ends up opening and they just happen to spill out. But overall, it just seems like it's just a story that's kind of a side mission to me.
I feel like if we ever do find out that it's Loki, if it ever turns out to be Loki as the big bad, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be someone behind him. There's gonna be like in Avengers,
Mobius.
It could be Mobius, but if it is Kang the Conqueror that's behind evil Loki, then that's their way of winking and nodding, saying, "Oh, look, there's this dude named Kang the Conqueror that's manipulating Loki, that's doing the TVA stuff." And that's their way to say, "Oh, there's this big bad that exists, and then it's going to show up in the movies." I think that's their tie-in.
Yeah, right. I could see that as like a post-credit scene, like Thanos with the wink, where he looks back and he wink was his first appearance.
Yeah,
in the first Avengers.
Yeah, man, that was such an epic moment.
Oh man,
fucking nuts! Like we're like, yo, we've been waiting 20 years to see Thanos on screen, man. Oh my god, such an epic moment.
Well, that's why I was kind of mad we didn't get the copter, because that would have been nice. Remember, the copter gets shot down.
Yeah. What's my man saying? I could read this. This entire show is simply leveling up Loki back to where he was in Endgame. Loki knows he can conjure. Loki knows what scale he can conjure. He knows how to enchant. He knows. I got to talk about the enchantment in a little bit. He knows how Old Man Loki escaped Thanos. House of Ideas gives him the ability to rewrite his story and get back to existing in the main storyline. He's already set up Mobius to bring the TVA down. Interesting. Teen Loki gives Loki his word. It's not Teen Loki. I think it was prepubescent. I don't even think his balls dropped yet.
It was Kid Loki.
Yeah, Kid Loki. He wasn't.
But he is the leader of the group.
Yeah, I guess.
But you're talking about his enchanting. You're talking about his enchantments.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the enchantment a bit because I'm like, Loki can't do that.
He can. They explained
in this show. Apparently,
they're not all aware of what they can do. And so that's why some Lokis or whatever possesses different skills.
But he had it too.
I don't know. You got to tap into yourself. I don't know.
I think there was just a matter of convenience, just like that flipping the building back up when it was destroyed. It's like, okay, another convenient power. Because Loki is not supposed to have enchantment powers. That's Enchantress. That's her power.
What Formal Foundation says, he did enchant, though, as he did with the Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok. But you have to remember that Thor Ragnarok is based on the future. This Loki is from the first Avengers.
Yeah.
So he hasn't experienced that yet. So this is practically him learning most of this for the first time. But he did enchant Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok. That is true.
Then again, I didn't like that movie anyway, so maybe that's why I forgot.
How do you not like Thor Ragnarok?
I love Thor Ragnarok, but I could see the complaints. No, which is the point of him leveling up. But that's why I was seeing from most of the show, especially his first scene with him and Mobius in the room where they're looking at his memories and he saw the future of him dying and stuff like that. He's acknowledging all these moments where he did mess up, and he learns like, all right, he is learning, the death of his mom and stuff like that. He is learning that like, all right, that was on me. He's taken it upon himself. Now he's learning to quote unquote love himself. And that's why I was believing that at the end you'll see opposite variant, which will be the baddie, in my opinion, where you see these two very different contrasts of Lokis going against each other. And then you have Sylvie. So his relationship with Sylvie is basically him learning to love himself. So
I had a great theory that I while I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I just shot it down.
Uh-oh.
I'm like,
Well, what?
I was thinking, I was thinking, what if Mobius, like his whole, like most of his past was just interviewing Lokis, like he was the one that actually flushed all the Lokis back into the thing, and that's why he was so sent to interview this one, because if Loki turns out to be the one behind the TVA, then maybe he's gonna want to overthrow him, and that's why he's doing all the interviews, and that's why he was all wanting to interview Sylvie and stuff. But then I'm like, but then he saw the other Lokis when they were in the void, and then that wouldn't have made sense. Maybe that's why he had like a Loki obsession.
That makes sense to me, because even when during the interviews, he's the only one who knows everything there is to know about Loki, or all of the Lokis.
Mm-hmm.
And you can easily, draw a comparison and say, oh, he may be jealous because he's stuck in just this office environment.
Yeah, but then when he meets up with Loki and Sylvie, like he sees the other Lokis as well. So they would have said something if he was part of that. That's where I'm like, oh damn it. I was going in a good place, but then
that's why I was thinking earlier where my second choice would be Mobius, but I was thinking a different route when he went back to the TVA, and then we're just supposed to forget that he just returned back, and poof, we're still coming here. I'm sorry, I'm reading Formal Foundations thing here. I think Kang is just a new M. You're supposed to think on purpose, so you have everyone preparing that story and reading the comic books to work out who he is for when he comes in Ant-Man. Now, here's the thing about these Disney shows, especially the MCU. If you believe they're going 1-for-1 with the comic books, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
That's been dead so many times. So, yeah, they'll grab some bits here and there from the comics, but they're trying to keep it fresh for everyone, even the people that read it. So, in that sense, I give them props for doing that, but they're in a thin line where they could mess this up, or they could go, for example, like Tony was saying with Thor Ragnarok. For the Thor readers, hate that movie, but for everyone else, it's like, oh, it's a comedy, but that's not really the Thor they set up. That's just not. But yeah, so that's where it's hard to predict where they're going here, and that's where the fun comes in.
Right. So we can kind of just comb through really quickly of the different Lokis. We have the Kid Loki, which we know which is the leader. He already stated, and that he was very bloodthirsty, and that's why he killed his brother. We have Boastful Loki, also known as basically Black Loki. We have Classic Loki, is what happened. What if he actually did stab and kill Thanos at the end of Infinity War? He ended up going into isolation. Yeah.
I don't think he killed Thanos. I think he just fooled Thanos to think that
he faked his death.
Yes,
he faked his death.
Yeah. And then he went into isolation. Yeah.
Then he went into isolation. Oh, I said the isolation part, right? So you have that one. You have the alligator as well, and you have I think that was it with those so far. And then we have the other variants, which they didn't really go into. They just showed, President Loki, which we self-explanatory, and they was all trying to overthrow each other, like all of like Loki does, and it just ended up in a big fight. And so they left that area and just realized that the only thing that they can do is, the main Loki, our Loki, wanted to just go and find out what was going on. And so his goal was to go to Alioth, or however you pronounce it, and see if you can kind of enchant, see what was going on, to find out who was controlling everything. And that's when Sylvie, after she pruned herself when she was dealing with Ravonna, she comes in. We have Mobius magically coming in, and we have these little teams, the 3 teams of the Loki, the guys, and we have them as well. And Richard E. Grant,
No, sorry. One thing that Richard said last week, technically the Black Loki did die first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Richard was saying, don't kill the Black Loki first. He did die first.
Yeah, he did.
He also was the one that turned on the others. So that's a very horrible portrayal of the character.
So as a team, they kind of call themselves the God of Outcasts. So was there any, we all know that Richard E. Grant, he ends up sacrificing himself at the end, but was there any of the other Loki that kind of stuck out to you?
Well, I didn't understand why the kid was the leader. He didn't really do anything except conjure a fire sword at the end. I was like, okay, that's a cool sword, but he didn't do anything. Like Richard Grant like made an illusion of Asgard, which was pretty impressive to fool Eliath. You know, he was trying to eat the representation, and he kept recasting it. So I was like, okay, so that's a powerful illusion. He made all of Asgard, but the kid didn't really do jack. So I was like, why is he in charge?
He had the sword. It was convenient because of the
It's-
sword.
They had the line about him. This is his world. It's his hometown that they were in.
Mhm.
So I didn't really know. I was a little confused with that, but I remember that
Yeah.
was mentioned that he was.
Yeah, they said it was his world. But I'm like, this is like a mishmash of mostly Earth stuff, which also annoys me too about this show. It's like we see in Guardians and all this stuff. There's races across space,
Mhm.
and there's all sorts of planets. There's Xandar and all this stuff, and we've seen them already. We've seen the Kree homeworld and Captain Marvel. We've seen the Skrulls. Why are none of them in this junkyard at the end of time? Why is none of that stuff there? It's
You know why?
only
'Cause they couldn't
really
afford
Earth
it, that's
Easter
why.
eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. They spent all that money on the other stuff. I mean, they dropped in the Eldridge, and they dropped in all this stuff. It's like, I don't know, drop in some fucking scrolls or something. You know, Mobius mentions vampires. Drop Blade in that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
something else.
That's where, you mostly just saw objects, but not the people. Like Yellow Jacket, you saw a giant Yellow Jacket helmet, but not him himself.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
a very interesting point that Formal Foundation mentioned. Where are all the TVA agents that got pruned, and that why wasn't they there?
I guess Eliath is like a giant vacuum cleaner. Like when
Yep.
they show up, it just dissolves them. You know.
Right. Well, that also explains the ship, because Eliath, remember, those wasn't Loki's in there. So remember when the ship came, he kind of just devoured all of that.
Mhm.
So maybe they were all murdered.
I felt like that was so random. You're like, that just popped out of nowhere. It's like, oh, here we go.
Well, I guess that is your explanation as to why the TVA agents make you wonder what happened to all the other agents.
Oh, yeah. Wow, actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So they needed to. I guess with the Eldritch scene, that's how they explain it. It's like, oh, Eliath just eats life, so it's just eating anything that lands there, and all you have left is the wreckage, because every ship in there looks decayed, you know. And when it went over the Eldritch, it also became decayed. So it just dissolves everything.
What's funny was the current comment right now that Formal Foundation says here, it could just be Loki variants and items that are pruned because it ends up in the same place. Set your phasers to Loki. Mobius is Loki. There was a point where I did believe that Mobius could have been a Loki variant in hiding, but I kind of threw that away a few episodes back. And that's
he
where
can change his appearance.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. But my thing was like, my idea, what I was saying before when I said weeks ago that variant Loki is the baddie, and maybe it's someone hiding in the TVA like Mobius, he wouldn't be, if that Loki is so smart, he wouldn't be smart enough to get himself pruned. And that's where I'm just like, that kind of defeats that entire thing. That's where I saw a trailer of Mobius without his Owen Wilson mustache. I haven't been seeing the trailers. I've been staying.
Well, I mean, also they kind of film cuts of stuff and test footage and all that stuff. They may have put that in the trailer, and he didn't have the mustache.
They do that a ton, especially with like Infinity War and stuff. When everyone's running through Wakanda and the Hulk,
is there.
They do a lot of stuff just to throw people.
Well, look at Thor Ragnarok. He had 2 eyes in the last scene.
Yeah, exactly. They do that a ton just to like get people off and stuff like that. So
that is very, very true.
Yeah. Oh wow!
Wow! So we go back and we discover B-15 is still alive. Hunter B-15. She's still very angry about what happened.
I forgot.
She's been imprisoned, and remember, she freed Sylvie. She's the one who freed Sylvie when she did Mind Thing. She's been imprisoned for that. Yes, Joey.
Which is sort of the same prison that Loki was on in Thor, where they locked him up. Just a heads up. Throw that out there.
Right. So her mission is she's trying to tell everyone about the TVA that they're all variants. She's upset about this. But you have Rorona, Renslayer, is basically she refuses to hear any of this. She is convinced that, which is weird because she kind of admits it in the other scene. But this one, she could not remember. She claims she doesn't know anything. Then she kind of admits that they're variants. And then now she's like, no, with B-15, she's like, no, you're going crazy. It's not real. So I don't really know what her whole thing is with that. I'm still convinced that she's working and she knows what's going on, and Miss Menace is behind it as well.
Yeah, Asgardian tech shield, just as yellow. In the Loki episode, it was red. Yes, but it is Asgardian technology, and that's why I was just like,
Oh,
Right.
That's a
Okay.
good catch.
excuse me.
yeah, that's why I caught that. Like, all right, we just got this just sitting here in the TVA for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
just randomly. Okay, that makes sense.
So B-15, Hunter B-15 is off to tell everyone the truth and also to find the other Lokis. So
Mhm.
she's on this mission. Maybe may end up in the void as well. She could prune herself along with the other members of the TVA to maybe go into the void to help defeat what's really going on with Aliyah.
Would she know what's in there?
I don't know.
But they will all have to prune themselves together.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't know what do they know what happens if they prove themselves?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they would just do it randomly,
I don't know. We don't know all of the information.
Yeah, I know we don't,
happened.
so we can't.
But we can at least assume that they're going to know that they are variants and maybe do something to take down the TVA.
Yeah.
And find out that there's 3 robots that were just decapitated. What's really going on? So you have the Lokis working from the inside and the TVA working from the outside to bring this whole thing down.
Yeah.
Actually, that brings me a good question. I forgot to ask Dana. Are you still suspicious of Miss Minutes?
Yes, I am 1,000% suspicious. I don't trust her. I just don't. So here we have. I think Renslayer is a variant of the princess, and she knows that she is not Renslayer Prime. So she will go to the void, hence saying, "Kill me, do it." I feel she knows that variant of hers would just replace her, and she wants to see this happen.
Wait, the princess? What princess?
I don't know.
Ravonna, she's a princess in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah,
But-
she's King's girlfriend.
Yeah, but you can't just throw that in the last episode and be like, oh, by the way,
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
I think
me
they're
neither.
already,
I think it's all Crocky.
It's all
Yeah,
crazy.
it could
Bring
be.
Crocky
Yeah.
back and be like, what up? He starts talking. I'm back. Like that would be crazy.
So basically, back in the void, we have the variants. They choose to stay behind. So maybe they'll end up meeting with someone else, the TVA, or I don't know. But they decided to stay behind, and instead that leaves Mobius. Mobius just bounced. He went back to the TVA, which was really weird. Again, I don't trust Mobius. He literally was just like, bye.
But yeah, and that's what I was saying. That's the only thing that doesn't. He just like, oh, here's a hug, we out, and that's it. You just never. I'm like, nah, I don't know. Something there's.
Because if you think that if you get pruned, and you think that if you get pruned you die, how are you able just to use your temp pad just right away and be like, peace out?
No, because they found out that it takes you to the.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. It's too convenient. He showed up in the car, and you use the car in order to avoid Elias. You're not just walking around going, "Wow, what is this?"
That's why I was predicting my second choice of Mobius, and it could actually be Loki and Mobius. It could literally be both of them at the end. That would be kind of cool. But
That would be, yeah.
Right?
yeah, that would be kind of cool.
That would be cool. So basically, he says goodbye, and they enchant the Elias, and they just charge in there, and it looks like I said, it looked like something out of the Wizard of Oz. But there's a lot of theories that is actually Kang's kind of castle.
Yeah, Kang's. Yeah, I don't. Oh man, I'm just thinking you got one episode. If it's not an hour and a half or 2, oh boy,
Nope.
I'm nervous. I don't know.
And then, right.
Nope.
And then there's also Richard E. Grant. He sacrifices himself because he's like, look.
That was dope.
That was cool.
That was cool.
That was like the highlight, aside from all of the Easter eggs. That was the highlight.
I just want to make a quick comment and say that what Chris said is 100% on the money. You need more episodes.
Yeah.
To really effectively tell these stories, because you're trying to fit so much into. Now, I will say with the Richard E. Grant stuff, they made me care about the character in one episode, so that was a good job. But I don't think 6 episodes is really enough to really dive deep into everything. Because by the time you get to the final episode, you should know a lot more than we know now. We still have a lot of questions that need to get answered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts, Carlos, Chris?
Chris has been oddly quiet.
With this episode, so all right. So when we get up to the enchantment fight, you talking about that?
Yeah, the enchantment fight.
Well, one thing that was annoying in there was Sylvie shows up and Loki's like, okay, we're gonna go. I'm gathering all the Loki so we go kill Goliath, and she's like, that's dumb. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna enchant it. I was like, wait a minute, bitch. How is his idea any less ridiculous than yours?
Yeah,
it's like you're gonna enchant a fucking cloud, but he, it's like, is that any less crazy than what he just said?
Which I will say that was the most random when she ran, jumped, and did that whole little Tomb Raider thing. I'm like, what just happened right now?
Yeah,
that's dumb.
What? And she's just like, I was like, yeah, that's wow. Okay, good.
Yeah, so her idea was crazy, and of course, plot armor kicked in, and then it was able to work. And not only was she able to enchant it, but conveniently the curtain opened, like you said, Wizard of Oz. The curtain opened, the cloud opens, and there's I guess Wayne Manor on the other side. It's like, whoever's behind this is in there,
Yeah, so, but you see, similar to the Wizard of Oz, at the end they find out that it's just a guy behind a curtain running things.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it could be Loki, could be Kane, could be the alligator, could be Owen Wilson. Who the hell knows? Like,
whoa!
It's just we've been saying there was just not enough runway to tell the story properly, and convenient things needed to happen. Things needed to fall into place. Owen Wilson needed to drive up to Sylvie. So I enchanted the cloud for a split second, so I know this will work, and it's like that's no less crazy than what he just said.
What's funny was I almost started a counter of how many times in this episode Loki and Sylvie stared at each other for a bit and nodded. I'm like, all right, we did this every scene. It's like, we're gonna hold my hand, look at each other, nod. I'm like, all right, cool. It was like 3 minutes of this solid. I got it. We're together. We're good. Thank you. I felt this. Yeah, it's a cloud. Yeah. Oh wow.
Wow.
You're muted, Dana.
You're muted, Dana.
Uh-oh.
Dana's muted.
Dana muted. Former Foundation, what are your thoughts on them looking at the camera? At which exact point exactly? Dana, I think you're muted. So
I'm still I'm unmuted.
You're back.
I'm unmuted. No. Oh yeah, no. There was a moment where they kind of like looked directly. The camera focused directly onto them. Is it like it was a wink, nod situation? So yeah, no. We have one more episode, and then I know you guys will be really happy.
WandaVision.
Yeah, we'll be free.
We'll be pruned out of the show.
You said they were looking at the camera. Is Wanda controlling this situation that's happening?
Good Lord, no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. No.
Stranger fills a loop and they take over.
Yeah.
So what? So Loki, Mobius, and Sylvie, they become the space lizards. They put on the silly helmets and the robes and the M3 on their thrones.
I mean, I need Mobius around for when the Fantastic Four comes through. I need him around.
Uh-oh.
Well, see, speaking of Fantastic Four, a lot of people also speculated that was a castle with Doctor Doom.
That's
no. That's a reach. I hope they stretch before saying that reach.
They already casted Galactus.
Oh, they did?
They found a perfect cloud for that.
Yeah, they did.
You mean the shit stain in the air?
Oh, Damn.
Wow. Okay, so, geez. Any final thoughts about this episode, and what would you speculate would happen in the season finale?
A whole lot of talking.
Yeah.
About 25 minutes of exposition because there wasn't enough episodes to visually tell this story.
Damn.
Jeez. Blanco?
Which one?
I'm
Oh,
gonna go.
Joe.
I'm senior, so I'm going.
You're right.
Even though I'm pretty sure you got more to say than I do. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it didn't offend me this episode like some of the others, but like you guys brought up, it's like a lot of nothing happened. It was like Easter egg the episode. That's what I want to call it. It was a lot of really cool visual stuff. It was nice, right? But substance wise, not really anything there. And I have a feeling that we're going to be massively disappointed by that season finale. Actually, I'm already disappointed there's going to be more seasons. Like, can we just end this shit, please?
Wow.
Like,
I actually didn't know that until today.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was other seasons coming.
Yeah, I had no idea. But like, here's the thing. I think Carlos, I think you said it. I don't know. Somebody on the show said it, and I agree. They're not going to show Kang. Kang is not going to be introduced to the show. Kang, that's a movie villain. Like, they're saving it for a feature film. They maybe throw a little hint in there, but they're not. It's not going to be anything conclusive. And I have a feeling that the main villain of this episode of the series is going to be Loki. It's going to be just a variant of Loki. So I don't know. We'll see. And there's going to be some foolishness with Sylvie probably. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how do they wrap this up in an hour, because it is going to be an hour. It's not going to be an hour and a half. I guarantee you that. But I don't know. And again, how is this thing going to like tie into the larger Marvel universe? Because I do feel like this show purely exists to push something forward, but at the same time, it can't have too much impact. This is like an OVA in anime, right? Like, it's affected by the main series, but it can't affect the main series itself. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel ultimately that by the end, and Dane, I think you may agree, it's going to be a plot twist. I think by the end, you're going to agree with me that this was a waste of time.
I don't feel this a waste of time because of the overall picture.
No, not yet. I believe that by the end of the next episode, you will be on my side and be like, "Yep, this was a waste of my time."
So I feel that it is going to be.
That's my prediction. That's my controversial prediction.
That's a great prediction.
That Dana will hate this show. Not that far, but you're gonna be like, "Yeah, Tony, I kind of feel like I wasted 6 hours watching this shit." We'll see. But
we know this show has to set up future things, right? Like all these shows are just service the movies, right? Like I agree with Tony, they don't affect the movies, but they just set up things. Like Scarlet Witch is going to be in Doctor Strange 2, and that's a movie, right? But so Loki is going to set up something in Love and Thunder, and set up maybe the What If show. Maybe this is how What If comes about. It's because they break the TVA and the sacred timeline or whatever bullshit is fractured, and so you get alternate, whatever.
Oh my God, would that be terrible if this show just sets up that cheap looking What If? I'm sorry, that looked bad.
I'm sorry, you said cheap?
Yeah, it looks fucking cheap as hell. I'm like, couldn't they animate this normally? Say there's some cheap. Terrible. I'm
with Tony on this one.
Yeah, I'm completely skipping that show. I'm not even bothered. It looks corny. It looks corny. It
looks like a weird like video game cutscene.
Yeah, no. I'm not even bothering because I know I'm gonna be mad watching this shit. So I'm not even bothering. Like, you couldn't have animated it normally. You had to do this cheap shit. So forget it. So if this show's setting up that bullshit, I'm gonna be even angrier.
So
Richard, just go because
I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm gonna say it right now, Rich. I'm sorry to cut you off. I hope Black Widow's good, man, because so far nothing of Phase 4 has done.
It's awful.
Like right now, as far as I'm concerned, the MCU ended with Endgame. That's it. Everything that's come afterward has been terrible.
Tony, can you do me a favor, Tony? After you watch this movie, just tweet at me either you're right or you're wrong. That's all I want.
All right. Anyway, Richard, I'm sorry to cut you off. Again, I'm just frustrated because like we've had 10 years of this awesome buildup, all these fantastic movies, right? And Phase 4, listen, I'm sorry, even the shitty Marvel movies have been better than some other movies out there. Even if I like Thor Ragnarok, I don't like that movie, but it's still better than a lot of other movies that have been released out there. Anyway, oh God, I know Phase 4 is just like weak. It's pathetic. You know,
I'll say this. I'll
Yeah.
take Falcon and the Winter Soldier series over most of the Thor movies. I'll take
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier over Captain America 1
that
and
movie
Avengers
was
Age of
fucking
Ultron.
great though, man.
That movie is shit.
No, the first Captain America.
The first one was shit, man.
Nah, that movie was
CG
fucking incredible, man.
Oh.
CG looking dude, skinny fucking.
No,
Nah, that movie was awesome.
if
So
you
man
say-
didn't watch. You don't
If you
appreciate
say
that
you
movie.
take it better than
man.
Winter Soldier, we're gonna fight right now, Chris. If you say you take it more than Winter Soldier,
Oh, Chris,
Wait,
yo,
what?
No, Chris
What?
isn't crazy. It's Carlos saying this blasphemy right now.
Wait, I never said Winter Soldier. It was Winter Soldier is
Yeah.
one of the best movies.
no,
in
I know.
the-
I'm saying I was waiting for you
Yeah.
to say it, and then we were gonna fight.
Yeah, he goes,
No,
Tony,
no.
you're this angry man. I'm Dominican, bro. I'm very passionate about it. I don't understand. I'm actually not an angry person. I'm probably the happiest motherfucker in here, you know. But I keep it real. But I keep it real, you know.
And I'll take the Falcon and Winter Soldier over most of the Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1 is all anyone should ever watch.
I give you that.
I don't know.
I got to think about that one, but
Yeah, I got to think about that. Yeah, but the thing is, you got Iron Man 2. That's the problem.
yeah,
Iron Man 2 was, oh
That
my
movie
God.
was
That was
man.
bid. Where's the bid? All right.
Yeah, I want my beard.
Well,
All right, bro.
what's
All
crazy
right,
is looking back at Iron Man 2 today, I'm like, I think I'll still pick it over some of these recent ones. I don't know. I got to revisit that one.
Yeah. I think Iron Man 2 may be the bottom for me, to be honest.
Next to
man.
Dark World.
Dark World, I didn't hate it as
Oh,
much
yeah.
as other people
Dark
because at least
World
Thor acted like Thor's supposed to. But I could understand why people didn't like it as much as, you know. But Iron Man 2, I think it may be. I didn't watch Captain Marvel. I'm like, that looks like trash. I'm skipping that, you know. So maybe that's like.
I wish I could be.
Tony, you watching it with rose-tinted glasses, man, because there's a lot of stinkers in the MCU.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying even the stinkers are better than some of these other superhero movies, you know? Let's just be real here. Most of the DC movies.
Oh, I was waiting for it.
Anyway, I'm derailing.
yeah.
I cut Richard off for like 5 minutes. Right, Richard, go ahead, bro.
You good. All right, I want to have a quick response to some stuff you said. Then I'll give my predictions.
Let's go.
So I agree 100% what you said about, you know, how Marvel set up all those 10 years, like everything with Thanos. That was a very ambitious, excellent way to do all these movies. So I figure now it's going to be a bit of a downtime for Marvel to, you know, try to get back to that. I don't really know if they're going to be able to replicate anything with whether it's phase 4, 5, or 6 as much as they did, because there was a lot of thought that went into bringing Thanos into this. So we'll see what happens though. But now in terms of the predictions, well, I have a variant, a positive variant and a negative variant of what I think is about the predictions. Let's go with the negative first, because it's more fun to talk negative.
Yes.
I think the finale is going to be, I also believe the finale is going to be disappointing. Because you know, it's a lot, it goes a lot to what Chris was saying before about you need a much longer time to tell this storyline. And again, I criticized this show a couple episodes ago when I said we know the character is dead, so where do you go from here? And that these are the same things that I'm thinking about as we're getting to the next episode. So it can be very disappointing. Now, on the positive side of things, I will say this. I believe that the after credit scene can be something that is compelling, because with WandaVision, even though we didn't see Doctor Strange show up, which I will admit I was disappointed. Now, I understand you didn't want to have him show up because it's all about Wanda. That's fine. But if this show is supposed to set up Spider-Man, it's supposed to be connected to Spider-Man and the Doctor Strange, then I'm expecting that after credit scene to be fire. There's no way you can't not have that be important or impactful. If it isn't, then they have just failed on all accounts. But we'll see what happens.
Go on, Junior.
I'm going next.
Yeah.
Tag. I'm in. So I do agree with the beginning, like the 10 years we set up Thanos and this, etc., whatever. I said right after, I'm very upset that the phase ended with Far From Home, not Endgame, which whatever. I say like they should have took a little time out. It's never gonna reach that peak again. That is the extreme high mark. Whatever. In terms of the predictions for the next episode, like I said, I believe it's a Loki variant, or it could be Mobius. It could even be Enchantress in another change. It could even be Lady Loki, the real one, not the whatever. But I do think that the post-credit ending will show a hint of someone or something, but that's where it gets tricky because we are technically at the end of time.
Yeah.
And it's like we are showing what if we're not nowhere near there in the other series or movies. One thing that at the end of all this, I feel like this show shouldn't really have happened, and you could have just put that budget into Falcon and Winter Soldier and make that go even longer. Because the post-credit scene for Falcon and Winter Soldier, I rather see 20 times more than what's happening with Wanda and all this stuff over here. I like the action side, the G.I. Joe side, the Captain America. I dig that. Here, it seems like a jumbled mess that I don't think they're going to solve in 40 or 45 minutes. That's me keeping it tame. And hashtag bring back Fox X-Men movies. I said it. What's up?
Cool, Carlos, to slow down.
I'm with Joey. I don't feel like they're gonna. It's possible that in 40 to 50 minutes they can possibly settle everything that needs to be settled in this show, or yeah, like Chris mentioned, it's like they should have extended this for more episodes because it's, they're trying to tackle so many things that and the main thing is like not even known. So it's it's hard to understand like how I'm gonna feel about this show when the season ends. And thinking about it now, I'm thinking, well, what can they possibly do for me to say that this show was a success? Because for me, this show is not great. This show is not terrible. And this show is middle of the road. And the fact that this is an MCU show being in the middle of the road is kind of disappointing. Especially with a character like Loki, who was the villain of the first Avengers, which is Tony's favorite Avengers for some reason.
It is mine too.
Wait, which one is my favorite Avengers?
Really?
The first one.
Oh, the first.
The first
yeah. That movie was on levels, man. Again, think about it like this, right? And I'm talking about comic book guys specifically, right? Waiting our whole lives for this moment, right? And then you had 5 movies leading up to this. Nothing tops that experience. The only other movie that comes close to that is Avengers: Infinity War, where it was double that, where you had 20 movies leading up to it. So
that's my favorite movie.
So like that experience can never be topped, and then just the film itself, it felt like an event, man. Like, remember when you were in the theater, everybody was going fucking nuts. Like, this is here, we've done it, we finally made it, man. Mother reading Wizard magazine back in the day and shit, looking at the casting, like, they did it. And then the ending with Thanos, nah, man, you cannot top that shit ever, man.
Also, I want to chime in. Yes, I agree. The first one is my favorite as well, but also for non-comic book readers, script writing wise, it's actually damn good because I went to see it with an ex who's never seen a Marvel movie, and she followed every beat to the end, and she was more excited than I was.
Yeah, no, that movie's fucking incredible, man.
Carry on.
You had a better ex than I did. Anyways,
there's still an ex. That's another variant. Don't worry about it.
Then the thing with Loki, like every guys are talking about their favorite MCU movie is the one that the big bad is Loki, and he's the main character of this show. So it's disappointing that the fact that this show can't be up to the heights of what not in the heights, up to the heights,
in the heights.
Of what the gravitas of this character with Kevin Feige at the helm, with Disney backing it up. It's unfortunate, and I don't think that this next episode can ever pick it up to where the standards are. So it's unfortunate that we have to view it in those types of ways. I hope for a good episode. I don't know if I just don't know what's going to happen. We have theories. we have theories, and I think at the end of the day, it's more likely than a lot of our theories are going to be wrong.
That's some dreams you got there, man.
That ain't happening, man.
That's some dreams, man.
They threw us a bone with Quicksilver. That's all we're gonna get.
Quicksilver. There's still a theory that he was just a variant and didn't know who he really was.
Man, I think they just dropped the ball with that one.
I think what I said in episode 3 with the train was just like we've been with Loki for these 10 years, and it's like, so you give us a show, it's like you had to bring your A game. Like, what more can you do with this guy? We seen him cheat, stab a dude's eyes out, and all this other stuff in the first Avengers. Now here is like, what the hell we do? I'm talking to an alligator, which is awesome, by the way. But still, it's like, come on, right? You gotta bring something.
I have a comment, but I think it might be too mean.
No, go on, be mean.
Go ahead.
Do you go?
No, the thing is, because these are professionals. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're up there. But these writers, man, that's all I'm going to say. I question these writers. It's like,
well,
that's again, I want to be mean. You know what I'm saying? Because their writers are up there. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm talking about.
No, you can say it. They're still getting a paycheck at the end of the day.
No, and that's it. Because I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. But you guys know what I'm talking about.
Well, we have certainly criticized writers on other shows, so I think it's totally fine to criticize the writers.
Chris,
no, because these guys, they're not doing a terrible. They're not doing a terrible job. It's just it's just mid-list writing. It's not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, despite my boasting that I'm Dominican, I'm very animated, I'm loud and shit, but this show is just mid. It doesn't really go sink low. It doesn't go high. It's just, So I'm like, and this is who you hire compared to these awesome other writers we've had in the MCU. Come on, man! This is what you get, really? Yeah. I don't know, man. And again, maybe there's some corporate mandate or something. It's like you can't, you got to be on this level. You can't go too crazy. I don't know if there's something imposed on them. Maybe, but can't blame
Kathleen Kennedy on this one.
No, you can't.
Chris, you got a question for me?
No, I was gonna say this is why I stayed quiet. Everybody called me Debbie Downer. Notice what has happened in this conversation. I'm just sitting here wringing my hands because everybody's doing my work for me.
Well, you're enchanted. You enchanted us.
I enchanted.
You're the lead. You're the lead variant.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this finale to talk about it.
Yeah, but my thing is, if this finale doesn't stick the landing, Twitter.
It won't.
The
show hasn't stuck the landing. This show could barely fly.
Well, what's crazy was this was the first episode where I actually saw people on Twitter making it trend, and it was the alligator.
Yeah, you're right. This is the
other than that, this show hasn't been.
Well,
no, that's a great point though, Jose. Because I tweet about that. I got because there's always haters, but I was like, how come I'm not seeing the same kind of hype for this show as I have been for fucking Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision. All of them got hype. This was the first episode where I actually saw memes. So the first time I saw memes, like, oh wow, mostly the alligator, like you said, but this was the first time. So that shows you the enthusiasm just isn't there. Maybe it was the most anticipated, but I think people watching it now, they're like,
But here's the question. Now, we said we believe it could be disappointing. I personally think it will be disappointing, but you're still going to have the people online, the Marvel fans. This is amazing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yo, and I'm saying this right now. I'm a longtime Marvel Comics fan. I can't stand Marvel fans, man.
Yeah.
Fucking worst. I'm gonna say it right now. Especially this MCU guys, man. It's like these guys talk all this shit, don't know nothing about the comics.
I issued a statement.
Yo, man, you talking to me?
No, not you, man. Your grandfather didn't, No,
I issued a statement on Thursday that I had to take down. On Twitter.
They got you.
I already
know about that.
You're getting
because I did say, like, hey guys, I know it's been a year and some change. We're about to get a new Marvel movie, which was Black Widow. Please refrain from saying this is the best movie ever, the best. Just slow it down.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you see the advertised quote that stated
Yes,
that
best
this was the
movie
best
ever.
movie ever?
But
to
there was
exist?
some people. There was
I
some
saw
people.
that.
Exist.
No, there was some people that saw it in the theater that Thursday and was just like, "This is hands down the." I'm like, slow down and get your thoughts together. Give it a minute.
Yeah, you know why they said that, right? Besides the fact that standards have just dropped, besides that, it's just because they've been in lockdown for a fucking year. They see a movie, they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it was just
it's
a
like
moment.
blowing their load everywhere.
It's
But
the
it's like,
moment.
yes, it's a moment. No, you're right about that. But but again, in general, and Rich, I'll let you go next. Like, it's just standards in general, man, have just gone down across the board, bro. Like, people just accept the dumbest shit. People like Mortal Kombat. Some in this chat right now.
Whoa.
You know?
Well, what we're doing
whoa.
is that's your son. You need to check your son because that movie was
I'm checking them because
check
I
your
love,
son.
And I did enjoy Black Widow.
Black Widow was
It's
trash.
just not the best. It's not the best.
Trash Widow. Look,
Trash Widow.
Trash Widow. I am sick and tired of having a movie where I have to wait till it connects to something else. If you just create
That's not what happened.
that is what happens because you know what happens.
Let's be careful.
Okay, no spoilers. But I'm just simply saying, my issue with Loki, I'm starting to break, and you know that I was like, "Yay, Loki! This is amazing." I am starting to break this show. If you look at Loki, plot twist. If you look at this series as a whole, look at Loki. What they did, they killed him. They brought him back. They killed him. They brought him back. Back and forth. All we have, he escaped. He's dead again. No, they brought him back. It seems like they don't know what to do with the character, so they give him this show. And this show is supposed to show, this is a whole different side of Loki. What happens is Loki gets to be the hero. What the hell has he been heroic in yet?
No, that's what I was saying the other episode was because he has a lot of fans and a lot of girls that like him.
Yeah, they like that shit.
That's like they're milking the cow, and I don't blame them for doing it. I mean, I'm gonna be disappointed.
The milk is dry. There's nothing left. It's dust.
And you know what? I just jump off of that. Think about his character development in the show, right? It's the same one we've seen already in the movie.
But that's why I said we've been here for 10 years.
Yeah, why are we repeating the same shit?
Yeah,
right?
we've been here for 10 years.
Loki was a villain, right? And then you started to see some good in him, and then by the end, he actually made good, right? In the end,
right?
It's the same character arcs. I'm like, why are we doing this again? And again, that's why I question these writers. The
writing is not good.
Yeah.
So I just want to make a quick comment, and this goes back to what y'all said about Black Widow. I am going to go see that movie, so I'm gonna have something to say about that after.
Richard, I want you to tweet at me too.
Yeah, I will do that, but I will just say this to go to what the point that y'all said, why people said it's the best movie ever. Let's also remember that this is the movie that Marvel was thinking about doing after Wonder Woman. DC did Wonder Woman, and at that point, Marvel hadn't had a female-led movie.
I didn't want to say that, but you did.
Yeah, so that's why they're saying it's the best ever, because now they want this whole Marvel DC competition thing.
Yeah,
can I say something though?
Yeah.
I actually enjoy this better than Wonder Woman.
Oh,
you know what? I will give you parts of that because of the family.
Family. But I'm like, hold on. Listen, I'm pretty sure, because if this is just what I think it is, like a straight up 90s style action movie, I'm gonna love it.
Wait,
but again, I'm like, is this movie? I know this doesn't happen, but I'm like, the only way this movie could be the greatest movie ever is if like Scarlett Johansson has like a quick scene where she's like in her fucking underwear or something. Like, I doubt we get anything like that, but I'm like, I think people need to slow it down. Guys.
Yeah,
just because you haven't been in the theater for years, I mean, you got to go fucking crazy.
I think the thing here, especially with these movies going forward with Doctor Strange and all that stuff, it's very hard to take yourself away from the comic book literature and stuff like that, and just if you give me a good story and make it make sense, I'm here. And Black Widow didn't stick to the comics and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm here. All right.
Are you doing one of these for Black Widow?
Yeah.
Okay, I have thoughts.
Whenever you guys all see it.
Because I'll watch it.
Like 2 weeks ago, waiting for y'all.
I've watched it, and yes,
I'm gonna watch it right after this. So if you want to do one,
we can do one.
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow then. Perfect. Let's go.
Damn.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, I think we went off on a tangent.
I think we went off on a
We
tangent.
did. Well, that's we said all we have to say
Yeah, we
about
had
this
to.
show, man. Like, it's fairly disappointing, and I don't have high hopes for this finale.
No, neither do I.
I hope.
I'm gonna still not be negative. I'm trying to do something new and not be completely negative with this.
But
you don't have to.
No, but
you
here's
don't
the thing,
have
Dana. You don't have to be negative.
Yeah.
You just got to be real. That's
Yeah.
all. You know, and if
I
you're
am
supposed
really
to be honest,
disappointed.
be your true self,
Yeah.
girl.
Well,
I
Be your
am
true
really
self.
disappointed.
No,
Tony's right. Like, there's a ceiling to these writers. Like, they're only capable of mid-level stuff. But I'll give it. They're way better. The guys who are writing like Star Trek Discovery, who are like the trash bottom of the barrel. Like,
Yeah,
the barrel has
I-
crashed through
yeah.
the bottom of the
I like
Titanic. It's
Picard.
Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna say, see, I again, I was trying to watch what I said about the Loki writers because I don't think they're trying to do bad. I will not hold my opinions back on those Star Trek Discovery writers. Trash writers, absolute trash.
absolute trash.
You
But
know?
if you look at the difference here, and this goes with all of the shows, the main problem or issue that I always had was you're not allowing them to breathe. You're only giving them 6 episodes.
Yeah.
That's why when you looked at Winter and Falcon, the Winter and Falcon Soldier, that one over there, the previous one, the ending, the finale seems so rushed. And the whole situation with Carly just seems so basic. You're not allowing your characters to breathe. 6 episodes is not enough. You need at least 10. Yeah, okay, yep.
Sorry. Yeah, there was many subplots and stuff that wasn't closed, but I'm extremely looking forward to what happens after.
Well, we have Captain America.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is whatever happens here in Loki, I am not looking to the future for this. I want it to end now.
Oh.
I agree with that. And just a quick comment, Dana, just to further your point, right? Not only are they restrained by these 6 episodes, they're also restrained within the larger MCU because they're sandwiched in between movies. So you're sandwiched in between movies and you're sandwiched in between 6 episodes. So it's just getting smaller and smaller. There's not a lot of room to move. You're like,
and you have to connect to the other movies.
Yeah.
I think if you were allowed to do something independent and just go off, like I believe that What If may be their only chance to be independent. And I know you don't like it in your
No.
That's a way. Listen, I love What If comic books. I grew up reading those.
Same.
This show is not going to be doing anything monumental. I guarantee you that. You know.
That reminds me real quick because I did want to say something about What If very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the criticism that Tony said with the animation, but you best believe I'm going to watch it because I want to hear what Chadwick Boseman's last performance was.
T'Challa,
because it's in the show. So I want us to see that for sure. But yeah, we'll see.
I'll cut that 30-second snippet. I'll send it to you separately when it happens. Okay. Wakanda forever. Done. We're done. What's it gonna be?
Good Lord.
No,
Go.
No.
Well, I have another name for that show, but I'll save it for the post-show.
Oh.
Jesus.
By the way, I do have something to say about the fan base of the MCU in general.
Oh,
yeah.
I agree with all of the sentiments. I don't know if it's a Rona thing or what, but every time this show airs, people praise it to extents where I feel like it feels kind of fake. I feel like they just seem like they want to celebrate something because I watch these episodes. I'm an MCU fan. I've been watching since day one, and and maybe I don't know if I'm just a Debbie Downer like Chris, but I'm like, it's like I don't see it. Like even the episodes that I like, I don't understand how people like, and I'm glad they're enjoying it, but I just don't see. I don't see it.
Carlos, you don't see it because it doesn't exist. These people are just hyping it up because their standards are too low. You know.
Now, did you see what happened with the review writer that he put a bad review?
Yo, that was some crazy ass shit. I saw Dana talking about. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Come to find out because and correct me if I'm wrong about any of this. So this dude, and he's apparently like award-winning like reviewer and stuff, well known, well regarded, and his reviews have been very thought out, meticulous, right? So he reviewed the first 4 episodes, I believe so, right?
Yeah.
He got so much shit for the 4th episode review that they brought in somebody else.
Wow.
You know what happened? He broke the sacred timeline. The TVA came to get him. This is Disney's
They
sacred
pruned him.
timeline.
They pruned him. They
Yeah,
pruned
so
him.
that shit is fucked up. You know.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's
And that's why I made that tweet. I'm like, yeah, and Loki is terrible. You know, I'm like, come after me, MCU fans. You know,
I don't think it's a.
I will
I think
block all your dumbasses.
I think Disney has a lot of pull with places.
No, yeah, you're right.
Like, hey,
Listen,
get somebody else to talk about this show.
That is very true. But I think it's just fandom in general.
Actually, I have a question. If we're talking about Loki, talking about Disney, and Disney owns all this stuff, ESPN and the ABC, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. considered in the MCU?
Yeah,
No.
it's in canon.
No,
Because I
it's
know
not.
James Gunn said he does not.
I thought they ejected all that shit.
Yeah,
Because didn't WandaVision had moments where there were stuff that was mentioned from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No,
Remember
that's
the
just because
Hydra
it's in Marvel Comics. That's just because it's Marvel Comics.
Yeah, because James Gunn was saying that he doesn't.
Yeah.
I
Those
think
shows.
Disney execs too said that it's not.
Yeah, no.
None of
Even
this stuff.
when the show was on, they said no. This is not connected to the MCU. Again, it's an OVA. The things happen in the movies affect the show, but the things happen in the show don't affect the movie. So yeah, it doesn't count. Remember, the only reason there's similarities is because there's like the Darkhold. That's part of the MCU, the Marvel comics as it is. So yeah.
So, any other final words?
Oh no.
I said what I had to. We'll see. Again, I'm already prepared to disappoint. Whatever.
Okay, so that has been our review for the 5th episode of Loki. Next week, Wednesday, there will be the season finale, which everyone will be excited about, and it will be rave reviews.
And we're gonna hide our Twitter handles.
We should
Not me. Not me. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say and let them come at me.
Let them come.
Well, don't come for me. I'm still dealing with the death.
Yeah, no, leave Dana alone.
Wait.
All the hate that you have for Dana, bring it to me. I will happily take it, and I will clown you.
Send it right to my dad.
Yeah, you send it right here. Actually, I'm not gonna clown you. I'm gonna ignore your stupid ass. That's what I love doing. It's such a great feeling. You have all these guys coming at me, talking all this shit, and I just don't say nothing. And it gets me even more mad. Or actually, what gets them mad is this so funny. I'm like, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like I just said, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's hilarious.
Okay, so this went all the way sideways.
Yes.
So, everyone have a great day, a great afternoon, a great evening, whatever time you're watching this, and we will see you next week. Oh, Richard. Oh, yes, I forgot. Please plug Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
Oh, I was going to say, I believe that Dana should be plugging. She did an interview with the cast of Black Widow.
Oh.
Yes, I did a slightly behind with everything, but I did a interview with the entire cast of Black Widow, followed by there will be individual interviews. There are videos on the site, on the YouTube site that has dropped as well. Yes, Mr. Blanco.
Did you interview my wife?
I don't know who
Florence.
that is.
Florence. Yelena?
Yes, I did to her. Yes.
Does it look like she smelled good?
Oh, whoa.
I feel comfortable answering that.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I will say she's delightful.
Thank you. Yeah.
She's very delightful.
Tony, don't give me that face, Tony.
No, I'm like, bro, what kind of question is that, man?
I don't feel
Are you one of
comfortable
those guys that goes to Comic-Con and smells women's hairs and shit while they're not looking, man?
I avoid
Please tell me you're not one of those dudes,
I
man.
avoid Comic-Con.
Oh my dear, this got really left. So yes, I did. The cast interview is currently up at the site. It will be followed by individual interviews. We have interviews also with the cast of Studios Loki. We're gonna have some interviews, slowly getting some in with Fast and Furious because family. And family. So we will have that, but you can look all of that on the site, and that should be wonderful and great. And following up, we will have Tom Hiddleston interview, which is Loki, which is Tony's favorite Loki.
Yes.
So, anything, Mr. Richard, plug something.
Yeah, I just want to say there's quite a bit of things in the works, so stay tuned. I know that we are also bringing back a very popular show next weekend that we cannot wait to record. Myself, Dana, and Gary. Power is returning.
Yes, I did the interviews for the cast of that as well, so that should be interesting. 50 Cent. Woo!
Yes, 50 Cent. So stay tuned for that, as well as some other things that I can't really talk about yet, but stay tuned.
Mr. Senior of Polunkos.
All right, as always, thank you for having me on. A lot of fun this episode. I guess we had to have extra fun because the actual episode we were talking about was just nothing. So it was good that we did this. And if you want to hear me rant about more stuff, or usually video games, that's kind of what I do for my day job. Follow me over on Twitter at Romudeth, ROMUDTH. I believe it's down there. If you don't know how to listen properly, and you can find links to all my stuff. I write for PC Mag, Laptop Mag, and I host the Throwdown Show, where I'm joined every single Thursday and Sunday by Chris and Carlos. Here we talk about them video games. So yeah, check me out on Twitter, and like I said, hit me up. We'll start a conversation. If you talk shit, I will ignore you or block you if you name call, because we don't allow that here.
Silly.
Oh, I think Tony covered it. You just catch us on Throwdown talking about video games. I'm not always a Debbie Downer. Sometimes there's delightful things like Ghost of Tsushima. That's a wonderful game.
Yeah. By the way, Chris, I want to say this right now, man. I wish you were on the last episode. We were talking about Nintendo OLED. Don't get me wrong. We held it down. We did our thing, but we needed that Chris spice for that specific segment. So hopefully somebody will ask us about it for the question show.
Oh yeah. That was big fail. I'm like fire and ice there. This is just ice until these writers step up. Like there's only ice for Marvel right now. But I mean, maybe there'll be some fire. I don't know. Hold out hope.
George A. Romero.
Yeah, catch us on at Throwdown Show, and I'm at Eurocar9. We're gonna be playing. We're gonna be finishing the fight apparently tonight. Halo 3. We're going to be playing Halo 3 on stream on Throwdown Twitch, and make sure to catch us there tonight.
Mr. Bad Taste in Movies, Joey.
Oh, damn.
Whoa. Do my man like that.
Follow me on Twitter for, the real takes on movies.
Shit.
Some directors follow me for a reason. I don't know.
Why not Lupin?
All right, so thank you, everyone. That has been our show, and we will see you next week.
Peace out.